There are moments when you say yes but want to say no. When you take on responsibilities that aren't yours. When you stay silent to avoid conflict. When you feel guilty for putting yourself first. All of that has a name: difficulty setting boundaries. And it's one of the most common causes of emotional exhaustion. We live in a culture that often confuses kindness with people pleasing, compassion with resignation, and respect with silence. We're taught to be agreeable, to fit in, to not make waves. But rarely are we taught how to set a clear and healthy boundary. So we grow up thinking that saying no is selfish, that asking for space means we don't care, that standing up for ourselves is being rude. And we start to live in sacrifice mode, tolerating, enduring, suppressing. And that hurts, because setting a boundary isn't about pushing others away. It's about protecting your peace. A healthy boundary isn't a wall, it's a door. A door that you choose to open or close based on what you need. It's a form of self-respect. It's a way of saying, this is okay. That is not. This is where I end and you begin. But when we don't know how to set boundaries, we lose control over our own lives. We become extras in someone else's story. We carry too much. Give too much. Lose too much of ourselves. And the worst part? We get used to it. We start to believe that's just how life is. That we're supposed to endure. But the truth is, we weren't born to endure everything. We were born to live with dignity, authenticity, and freedom. And boundaries are a vital part of that. In therapy, many people realize their anxiety, sadness, or resentment traces back to boundaries they never set. They feel invisible, drained, or taken for granted. But once they begin to work on those limits, everything starts to shift. Because setting a boundary doesn't just change one situation. It changes the way you relate to yourself. It reconnects you with your own power. It teaches you self-affirmation. But let's be honest, it's not always easy. Setting boundaries can be uncomfortable. For others, and for yourself. People around you may be used to your constant availability. They may react with anger, guilt-tripping, or surprise. That's why it's important to remember, just because a boundary isn't well received doesn't mean it isn't necessary. In fact, it often means it's even more necessary. Avoiding conflict by not setting boundaries only creates a deeper, silent conflict within. And that inner conflict shows up as anxiety, insomnia, or emotional fatigue. Learning to set boundaries is learning to listen to yourself, to recognize what feels off, what drains you, what hurts, and to act accordingly. Not from aggression, but from clarity. You don't need to yell to set a boundary. Sometimes it's enough to say, this doesn't feel right. I need time. I can't take that on. This is my limit. Simple words, but powerful ones. Words that bring you back to yourself. In a world that often glorifies overworking and silent suffering, setting boundaries is an act of personal revolution. It's saying, my peace matters. My time matters. My energy matters. And if this message resonates with you, if you struggle to say no, feel guilty for protecting your time, or constantly put yourself last, then maybe it's time to check in with your internal boundaries. Because no one can respect your boundaries if you don't know them first. And no one can care for you better than you can. Setting boundaries might feel strange at first. But it is one of the most powerful acts of self-love. And like all real love, it transforms. So start small. A no when you mean no. A not today. This doesn't feel right. Because setting a boundary isn't shutting the door on someone else. It's opening a door to your true self. If you want to explore these topics further, check the links in the description below. And if this video spoke to you, give it a like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss any content from Grow From Within. See you in the next video.